Vansiclen.
All right. Can I get one of those, Coach? Can I get a that one didn't sound as
louder?
Trying to get
It doesn't sound like it's loud, right?
There it is. All right, today's guest is Coach Ricardo Acuna, my coach, my good friend. Thank you for joining me here on the Vibes Vansiclen podcast. Appreciate you, brother. How you doing today?
Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Busy, a little tired, but always time for Tim Vansiclen.
That's
You know
right.
how it goes. On top of that, I'm working on schedule all the flights for nationals.
You know, boxing has the nationals coming up. You said.
Yeah, we're splitting. Like, we're sending some people to Usiva. I'm taking just couple people to the NCBA though. So now I
Okay.
have to figure it out, all the traveling and all that stuff though. The schedule.
You know what that sounds like to me, Coach?
You.
More trophies. I see you got one behind you. What trophy is that behind you? Is that the national championship trophy right there?
Oh yeah, that's the first one we got back in 2014, back in West Point, New York.
Hell yeah, that's what's
Remember?
up. Was there?
The one that you knocked out the kid from West Point.
Oh yeah, we had to get the revenge.
That was a knockout.
It was quite the knockout. Explain to the audience our relationship.
I started coaching the season 2010-2011, so it's been about 11 years or plus, I think. I don't remember exactly what season you joined in.
Yeah.
I remember, however, that I already had some crew that were ready to go, right? That was Alberta and San Franco, and which were the first crew that I was coaching.
OGs.
And I got this little kid jumping in front of everybody, trying to, hey coach, give me some mitts. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, get back to the line. And next time I know, you popped out again. Hey coach, I was like, bro, you get out of here. I was like, go back to the back of the line, right? So with that being said, I know you were the second wave of boxers that was building at the team, though. So we've been together ever since. I've been blessed with all your energy, enthusiasm, and your athleticism, and you were able to be from going to NCBA, which is collegiate. And I remember all people criticize us a lot, saying that we were just college students.
Yeah.
Right. Soon enough, we competing the LBC, winning world championships and making a statement. Basically, that's what Richard Vansiclen has done. We've been through a lot. It's been a blast, really entertaining. I have loved every part of the process, because when you see someone to grow as much as yourself and seeing that you know what you want and you're pursuing it, you know you're gonna get there. It's just amazing to be part of the journey, right?
Oh yeah, it's
And
fun.
see where you start and where you are today. Yeah. I mean, you always talk about this, right? You never thought about being a professional boxer, because I remember you have different ideas, but the Olympic trials. In 2016, I think that's when you realize your full potential in the sport. It has been amazing to see you development. Granted, it has not been easy, right? You have put a lot of time in, and it's been a lot of people who has helped us along the way, right?
100%.
Partners.
Yeah, a ton of them. So question for you: how long have you been coaching boxing? I think the Vibers want to know.
That I think it's 12 years now.
12 years, okay. And then what's your background with the sport?
I was lucky enough to start martial arts. I started Taekwondo. I took every test. I compete, got my black belt, and then I did a little bit of boxing. Nothing compared to what I done in terms of coaching all the athletes. That's all what I have done. So I have learned a lot.
Hey, I have a black belt. I've been coaching for 20 years. That's all I've done, bro. Shut up. I love everybody on here so far. Everybody I've had as a guest is so modest. There's a reason you're my guest, because you're a stud, bro. And I really appreciate you, Coach. You obviously have the experience, and it shows obviously through all your athletes, not just me. So another question that I think a lot of people want to know is if you could count, and it's probably going to be hard for you to do this, but how many fighters have you trained total if you were to put a ballpark number?
Um, Golden Goal champions, I would say there's about still state. I don't know, about 20 NCAA nationals. I would say about 20. Along the way, every other person who were able to help us to get those fighters for the wear, meaning the sparring partners within the boxing team, I think. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I never
That's
been
a
asked that
lot,
question
huh? Yeah,
before.
because you got
Yeah,
to think not
yeah,
everybody that
yeah.
you train is going to be a champion, right? So you
Yeah,
have,
I mean,
but they go to help build the champions, right? So that's I would say
correct, correct.
you're probably somewhere in the thousands. Like there has to be. I mean,
Well, if we put it in perspective, every student or every school athlete that I have ever trained in a big setting such as boxing, yeah, probably some around 1,000, right?
right.
The ones really competing to the really competitive high level is fearless, you
Yeah, a
know.
few hundred. Yeah, a few hundred. Yeah, for sure. How has boxing helped you? How would you say it helped you?
I think I've been helping boxing. I think that's the other way around that. For once, I think you and I have talked about this many times before. I never crossed my mind to be a coach because I never wanted to be a coach, right? My reasons behind it is a long story. When I started coaching, I figured it out that I was able to help athletes. The background that they have was a little competitive rather than others have the ways a lot easier. So they needed a place to leave everything out. I think also was able to develop so many different boxing styles for different athletes because I was intrigued for every athlete being different.
Right, and that's my next question. That's a good segue. What would you say your coaching style is?
If we're talking about competition, is offense, defense, offense, defense, offense. You one step ahead of your position. Depends what the opposition is bringing is how we want to take the fight.
100%.
So that what does that mean to me is that not every athlete is gonna be able to execute the same technique in the same form.
Right.
So therefore, I teach one set of basics for me to be able to guide him and help him to use and learn how to utilize the natural attributes.
Yep.
Right. So when I help him to understand and figure it out how the boxing technique is going to help him to maximize the natural attributes in terms of reach, mobility, then I start focusing on how the body mechanics reacts, how they are able to understand the angles they're creating at that point in time, and I start developing from that point, right?
You sound like a mad sweet scientist, coach. A mad
Well,
sweet scientist. I'm gonna answer that too. I'm gonna answer the same question. So I would say your coaching style. This is the best example. So one of the very first times I trained with you, and this was outside of the UW. Remember how we used to go to the SBG? Oh man,
yeah.
great story. So this is just who you are. Like I show up, and I got there probably 15 minutes early, but you know that the old SBG, you gotta push the little buzzer, right? And
Yes, sir.
I was out there in the rain. I had like borrowed somebody's car from college just to get there. You know, I was like rattled because I didn't know where I was at. I didn't know if it was the right place. And bro, I don't even think you looked at me. You're like, you're late. Like, I don't give I don't give. I was dying. I was just like, this guy is so serious about this, and like, I was here early, you know, and like that from the very beginning, I was just like, no excuses, and that's probably why we've been so successful is because okay, and you knew you were where you had to be. You weren't there on time. It doesn't matter. Like that's boxing. You get hit. You gotta evolve. You gotta transition. And I think that example of just that mentality was just like, oh, okay, this is what he's about. And you know, I don't think I was ever late again either.
Probably not though. If you
No,
did, I
yeah.
probably I made you pay for it. I know that.
Oh yeah, that day was terrible. That day was terrible. So who is your favorite fighter of all time?
Well, look, I grew up watching.
Vibes. I'm just kidding.
Well, that comes without saying, but honestly, I grew up watching Julio Cesar Chavez,
Yeah.
right? Despite where a lot of people believe that he was a blocking counter moving force, the admiration of his upper body movement with his way ability to create angles as he was moving forward the whole time. It was impressive, right? Tyson.
Yeah.
So, and in Mexico, I love to roll with everybody. So that's what I like for me. As an American fighters, boxers, Sugar Ray Robinson is one of my favorites.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The ability to be able to fight so many rounds and be able to perform.
Yeah, they did 15 and they did like 6-ounce gloves.
And this about history of boxing, right? Back then, pull the hair of Knuckles harder, right? So those fights are amazing, though, right? Granted, I got a lot of love for Muhammad Ali, right? He changed the game from when you just dodging bullets to actually utilizing your footwork, which does advocate for my boxers, at least at the amateur level, right? So I think I don't really have one in particular, honestly. Right. Granted, my heart always goes for Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. for what he brought to the table outside just boxing, right?
100%. So, in terms of your favorite moment coaching so far, what has that been?
There's so many, to be honest with you.
Give me a top memory right now.
The first championship. It was so much for us to prove. I remember you and I talk about that loss you got the year before, right?
Right.
And I remember walking you through the situations, how to switch things and how to time it correctly, knock him out, right?
So you're talking about the one right behind you, that the college trophy. Hell yeah, that was a good one.
Yes, sir. That one. And probably that's what I keep the most, right?
Right.
Why? Because at then we were in a hostile environment in West Point against the soldiers.
Right.
And when you knocked out that guy, I think we earned the respect. But as the same as we did it, I remember you calm people down. Right.
Well, I mean, I was hyped. I was Mendez. Because Mendez knew, because I was hyped. You could hear a pin drop in that play.
Don't get me wrong, my whole respects for the cadet, all right? But what I'm saying is that moment where everybody stayed quiet until he was able to rise, and then I felt like right then the West Point and us earned a respect.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like literally, we give each other respect for the respect we have in the ring and outside of the ring, right? That was for me to understand that I was able to help. I guess that's why. So
yeah, you guys won Coaches of the Year, you got Trainer of the Year. That was a really good year, and crazy because it just didn't get that much love from the university itself. That's a whole topic that we can go into. But we won. The women's team won. They were the killer. That was the best women's team
man, 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Taylor Jackson.
Taylor. Yeah, bees. That was a really good moment, and that was a good trip for sure. I got one more question for you, Coach, and it's a fun one. You ready for this one? So, F, marry, kill. Boxing, taekwondo, and karate. F, marry, kill.
I marry boxing.
Yep.
I kill karate.
Mm-hmm.
And if taekwondo.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The black belt, you've already been there, done that. Makes sense. Thank you for joining my podcast. It's been amazing. We have so much more stories and stuff to tell, and we're going to do amazing things. So look forward to the next one. Thank you, Coach Acuna. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, let's go for Team Vansiclen. We're going for our next win pretty soon.
I've been on my grind. I just wanna party all the time since I've been on my hustle. I've been on my grind. I just wanna party all the time since I've been on my hustle.